I have just interviewed Matt Diggity, a super successful entrepreneur, and he shared with me his secret life of psychedelic use. And he shared two extremely inspirational things. The first one, I'll let you guys listen to the video, but the second thing was how plant medicines has brought awareness into the areas of his life that were deficient when his career was booming and super successful. So I can't wait for you guys to listen to this, and thank you for clicking on this video. Ouch, ouch, motherfuckers. Welcome back to the podcast. So today we have a special guest. I mean, every guest is special. But if I were to describe this man, and we're not that close, we've only kind of hung around some circles together. But if I were to describe this man in one word, it would be humble. And for me, all our limited interactions, I've just felt a lot of humility, groundedness, and humbleness from this man. And what makes it even more amazing is he's so humble for the amount of success that he's achieved in his life. So whenever I ask about you, like people tell me two things. They tell me he's really down to earth, he's really humble, and he's extremely successful. His house is like a spaceship. Those are the things that I keep hearing. So thank you for joining me today, bro, to do this. Can you please share with the audience perhaps who you are, what you do, where you're from, and perhaps how you got to Chiang Mai?
Well, thanks for the super kind introduction. My name is Matt, and I'm from California. Yeah, born in the States, from California. I went to school as an engineer, electrical engineer, in the cubicle, 60-hour a week kind of gig. And at a certain point, I just realized, yeah, this system doesn't work for me. Despite the salary, despite the perks, like the rat race just never jived with me. So I kind of pulled the plug on that about 13 years ago and came over to Thailand, which I'd known in my heart from travel that just seems like a cool place to live, and it's cheap. I'd probably be able to survive if I figured out how to make some kind of money. And so just pull the trigger, figure out when you get here. So came over here and started exploring. What are the different ways I can make money? I was like English teaching and etc. I I think it was because I was so scarred from, trading my time for money that I just kinda wanted to get something passive rolling. So, I somehow some way or another, I got into SEO, search engine optimization, making websites, getting to the top of Google and monetizing them in various ways, and it worked. And so, scaled up that for years and years and made a lot of businesses. And, now I'm more in like a investor kind of director type mode,
Mm.
but loving life and, loving being here in Thailand. It was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life.
Okay.
And, beyond that, I think a reason that you probably invited me here is I'm a fan of psychedelics.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we'll get
That's
into that
that's
as
the
well.
juicy
For sure.
stuff.
Yeah,
But
no.
I'm definitely interested in when you were younger, did you have any passions or ideas about what would be the perfect career for you growing up?
Mm, oh my gosh, I've never been asked that. I think just I don't know what it was, but, doctor had crossed my mind back then
A
just because.
doctor.
Yeah, I think that my parents just fed me that one
Okay.
because it's like in their heads at the time, it's like the top salary, position anyone
Okay.
could achieve.
Did they pressure you to achieve success early on, or?
Not really, not really. I got good grades on my own, and yeah, we can get into, like, why that happened, but, uh, yeah, in terms of career, yeah, there was doctor being pressured, not pressured, but suggested. And then this is weird, but, my mom had saw a psychic at some point in time. She was into them, like, she'd see him every once in a while, and one of the psychics said, "Your son's gonna do something with the computers."
Okay.
Computers were, like, basically, like, just a little bit better than calculators back then,
Right.
but, um, maybe that stuck somehow, because that's all I do is I'm on computer.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, that's another piece to your puzzle is the YouTube channel. So how did you get started with that?
Alright, so SEO is all about traffic to websites, right? And even though that was my bread and butter, I started to read the writing on the wall. People don't interact with articles the way they used to in the past. Like, when was the last time you read an article from top to bottom?
Mm,
Freaking years ago, right?
yeah.
You skim at best. So I started to notice that. I have multiple businesses, and I'm seeing lead flow drop for them, and I'm seeing people get massive success on YouTube. So I decided to give it a shot. Like beginning 2021, just decided to make a video a week and see what I can learn from it. And my experience was that in terms of marketing channels, there's nothing compares to it. The amount of connection you get with the viewer, they're seeing your face, they feel like they're getting to know you. There's an authenticity, you can tell do storytelling, the engagement. I feel like it just trumps all other marketing channels. And yeah, I'm raised on SEO, I'm raised on PPC, and I still think YouTube's the golden cup. It's just a hungry beast. We were talking about this earlier. It's
Yeah.
a grind.
Yeah. Was it YouTube that kind of skyrocketed your career and your success, or did you already achieve a certain level and then you started the YouTube?
Hmm. Uh, so it was about 2019 where I'd kind of deployed 80% of the businesses that I would build, and like a course, and multiple agencies, conference, that kind of stuff. And that was all powered by the traditional stuff at the time: SEO, ads into funnels and webinars and that kind of stuff, and paid ads in general. And then so they were going fine, everything's going great, but once YouTube started to kick in, and especially past 100,000 subscribers, something clicks in the viewer's mind that like, "Oh, this person's legit." And then the growth started to go like that.
Right, right. And was like getting that level of attention and being seen. How did you how does that affect a person's, like, personality and ego? Does it affect it at all? Do you feel like you have I guess, I don't know, not a sense of superiority, but, like, a sense of, like, "Wow, like, people are actually listening to me and this feels good," or are you not so focused on that side of things, you know?
Mm, good question. So, I think because I've been always interested in yoga and spirituality and
Mm,
meditation, so I know the traps of the ego, and I knew I was, playing with fire through this whole thing. Mostly just trying to, like, stay grounded and stay level-headed and know that, just because you're popular at SEO, that doesn't mean crap in the real world.
right.
Like, that's not cool. You're not a musician. Like, let's be real about it, right? That said, go to conferences, and sometimes, like, in the airport in Chiang Mai, and people recognize me, and it's weird,
Mm,
it's weird. People assume that if you're on YouTube, that you're an extrovert because 'cause you're in front of the camera and you can communicate like
right.
that. Bro, I'm the biggest introvert. It's just a learned skill, and, especially when you're doing talking head videos and you're just speaking to the camera and that's it. It's a conversation with a piece of equipment. I'm not talking to 300,000 people that are watching. I'm just
Yeah.
talking to one piece of equipment. So it's not like massive extrovert skill.
Right, right, right. But do you get, like, flattered in any sense when someone comes up and is like, "Hey, man, I watch your YouTube. I think it's awesome. It's helped me so much with my SEO," or anything like that, you know?
Yeah, more lately, I'm grateful for it, and I'm
Mm,
like, "Wow, that's a trip," "Thank you for telling me that." I
right.
think before, I was so afraid of, like, that getting to my head that I'd
Right.
be like, "Wow, bro, can you just, like, not tell this to me?" Like, and, "Thank you, but I'm just gonna, like, go somewhere else," you know? I had a weird time, being proud of, the things that I've done for a while.
Yeah, interesting, man. That's so interesting. What would you say is, like, the things in your life that help ground you or actually give you, a true sense of fulfillment? If there's any areas that you can touch on briefly or go into.
Yeah, I mean, fulfillment, I'd say, is like multi-category. Are you doing work that you find purposeful? Do you have solid relationships? Do you have health? And I think, like, in all my those categories, I've done pretty well, especially more recently with purpose and just kind of shifting focus. Where I didn't know I had lacked was in the mental health category, and more towards the coloring of anxiety and, like, performance, this need for performance. And doing the work there and doing therapy, psychedelics, etc. It's funny because like I never felt like I had an issue with it. I thought this is just what adulting felt like,
Yeah.
like you get up and you got to do all this stuff and you hustle and like go 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 go. But once I'd done the work and to feel like see what a different operating system feels like, I was like, oh yeah, there was definitely something wrong there. And now I feel way more grounded.
Okay, yeah, awesome, man. So like, to achieve like this level of success, this level of like wealth, do you feel like you can kind of like put that to rest, or do you still feel even more of a drive to accomplish more in your life? Like, do you see yourself as having you're already defining your life as you've succeeded enough in this life, or do you find that you still have bigger goals and bigger ambitions to continue?
Mm, I don't think I have a push to make more money. Um, Yeah, if I'm gonna do anything, and I do feel like there's at least one more big push I'm gonna have in my life, it's gonna be purpose driven. If it makes money, that's great.
Yeah.
But I do have inner talk all the time that's like, hey, let's jump on something because you don't want to waste your potential. We can help people in a big way. And I know I have one more push, so I don't know what that's gonna be at that point. So I'm being patient about it.
Right, right. So you're not driven by money anymore. But did you feel that you had to make money first to kind of let go of this desire, or did you even have the desire to be this wealthy when you were starting out?
So not really. Like, when I moved to Thailand, I was just like, as long as I can make $1,000 a month and not go poor, like, I'll be fine, especially coming off of being, like, a slave engineer for so long.
Yeah.
So but then when I started entrepreneur, I was like, "Okay, when you work for yourself, the sky's the limit." And the reason I didn't like work is because I took no ownership in it. I didn't see all the upside, and I didn't have freedom in what I was doing. Then I got re-intoxicated with it again. And it's not that I was chasing money, I was just, like, chasing achievement. It started to become points like in a video game. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, I wish I could have said, like, I beat the desire for money myself before I'd made the money, but no, I'd made the money first. And, even, like, mentoring, like, younger generations, I don't know, I didn't walk that path, so I couldn't tell you how to, like, like, get rid of money anxiety before you make the money. I
Right.
don't know how to. I never did it, but I wish I had.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's so interesting, man. So like, I mean, like for a lot of guys out there, and even for myself, I guess like the desire to be successful, to build wealth is a strong desire, even for myself, I'll admit, because I just see more freedom that comes with wealth for my family, for the people I love, for the people I care about, for the people that I want to help. What advice would you give young men out there who are kind of like climbing, they don't want to be in the rat race anymore? What advice would you give them that it takes to not just be successful materially, but in a sense, like energetically as well? What are the energetics of a man who is, for example, has a lack mindset and is in the mode of like being desperate to having what he needs and having a real sense of abundance?
Mm, okay. Let's start with the financial part first. I I really believe that, especially with AI coming online, AGI is, according to Mo Gadot, who I just saw at a conference in Bangkok, he thinks AGI is upon us next year or the year after. And so
Sorry, for those who don't understand what AGI is?
artificial general intelligence.
Okay.
So the point where AI is so capable, it could start improving itself. And then it's smarter than humans. We start ceding over a lot of tasks to it.
Okay.
Maybe control of our governments at some point.
Right.
Yeah. So it's very scary stuff. Maybe scary, maybe hopeful, depending on how you look at it. But
Yeah.
uh, Mo Gadot said that there's basically what where AI wouldn't take over is anything involving human connection. And I would also add upon entrepreneurship because no one knows what a human needs better than humans. So the AI is going to have a lot of capability, but we know what we need. We don't need like you know glass hot dogs, you know, we need things that we need, right? So I'd say entrepreneurship is a big part of it. Being able to see to find your own way. Like if you're working for someone else, by definition, they're going to cap your salary. So that's helpful with the financial part. And then also understanding leverage. And this is, you know, I pulled this from Naval Ravikant, which is a great book. The Almanac of Naval. I highly recommend this for literally anyone. I'll make my kids read it someday. But leverage is like at the beginning, you have no leverage, so you're trading your own time for money. Then eventually, when you have enough money, you can use that money to have financial leverage, like make investments that work for you while you're sleeping, passive income, etc. And then with more experience and more influence, you might get human capital leverage or labor leverage. You have people working for you to help uh, go towards your vision of what your business wants to do or what your dream is, etc. So you stack these things up, you get leverage along the way. Mindsets are really important too. I think a mindset of integrity, like really just unconditionally, if you say something, it gets done.
How, yeah.
Yeah, like it's really important in business for people to know that if you say something like you're going to deliver it on time, you're never late to anything. But also for yourself to just know that I set out to do something, my hit rate's 100%. Eventually, you're so confident that um, doing anything does the challenge it's inevitable,
Mm.
right?
Okay, so I want to touch on integrity because you come across to me like a guy now who has a lot of integrity. Were there any moments, perhaps in your childhood or starting out in your 20s and your 30s, where you felt like you lacked integrity?
Sure. Well, I can tell you the black and white switch point where integrity became really important to me. So there's a seminar program. You ever heard of Landmark Forum? Yeah. So you didn't need to dig too much into it. And I don't think you need to do this to have this experience. But they told us at the beginning it's a 3-day seminar.
Mm.
It's about personal development and whatnot, finding your blind spots and pushing past like issues and stuff like that. But they tell you at the beginning, we're really big on integrity. Tomorrow, if anyone shows up late, we're not starting the class. We'll just sit here and wait until we're all here because we made a promise to be here on time. There's one person late for about like 2.5 hours. We just sat there. We just sat there for 2.5 hours. No one could be on their phone. You just sat there.
Yeah.
And for some reason, like that experience in that class just ground into me like, okay, this thing's really important. Let's not fuck this up anymore. And and then when I started adopting it in my life, it just became, you know, things got better.
Yeah.
Things got better.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That feels like to me like a very masculine way to teach people like certain lessons
Tough
and
love.
yeah, tough love. Is it it's mostly men in this field. Am I correct to say that?
In this landmark farm
Yeah.
thing, no, it's mixed. It's
Okay.
totally mixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. And I want to go back into your childhood because I think, like where we came from and how we grew up really sets up the foundations for perhaps all our struggles and not just that, all our successes in life and what we go through as well. Can you perhaps like share with the audience maybe, I don't know, man, it's not like maybe like a hard challenge in your life that you felt that you really overcome and that also shaped the person that you are today?
Hmm.
Just so people can get inspired by it.
Yeah. Well, a few things. So, in the last couple of years, I've done a lot of like inner work.
Mm,
It's basically been I've been Brian Johnsoning my mind and my nervous system for like 2 years, and a lot of that goes back to trauma work and understanding what happened in the past.
mm.
And so major events that are happening, like fairly big traumas, like I lost my parents at 20 and 22. So it's pretty young to lose your mom and dad.
Well, both parents.
Yeah, both.
Okay, okay.
Ironically, I mean, sure, there's a lot of things that came about that. Like to be on your own at 22 with 80 grand in student debt, like that probably fueled me to think I got to dig out of this and I'm all on my own. Like, let's make some money. Like that's the upside of it, right?
Right.
Uh, Ironically, like in psychedelics and, deep, deep past work like therapy,
Yeah.
I skip past that to the younger stuff to elementary and high school, where, you know, I grew up as the only child. I'm half Asian, which was weird in my hometown, and, uh, I had instances where I just feel like I wasn't accepted,
Right.
and I think that shaped me more than anything. Like,
Yeah.
this need to, like, fit in and feel accepted
Yeah.
was a driving force in my life, and who knows, maybe if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have gone, like, the personal brand route with marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's wild, man. Yeah, it just goes to show, like, like you meet a person on surface level and you don't really know what they've been through. So is your mom Asian or your dad?
Mom,
And what Asian?
Japanese.
Japanese.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. And yeah, I mean, like 21 to me, like until 30, you're still a child. Like,
Mm.
it takes a lot of time to really mature and feel confident, not just in your skin, but mentally. How was your relationship with them before?
Yeah, fine. Really good until, divorce happened and step parents came on the scene. And yeah, that was probably maybe one of the most traumatic things. It's just like a bad step parent situation.
Okay.
The upside of that too is I took my sweet ass time to like find my partner, and now we have have a perfect partner, a perfect family.
Yeah, yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, like really like kind of like yeah, yeah, like one thing that he's not my mentor anymore, but like my bigger brother type figure when I was younger, he said to me that like all your pain is going to be the root of all your success in the future, and I really felt that, man.
Mm,
Um and yeah, just let me know if I'm pushing too deep on your parents, but can I ask how they left?
cancer,
Cancer.
both of
Yeah.
them. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, brother. Yeah, I lost my mother to cancer as well, like probably 4 years ago, and yeah, it's funny, man. Like for me, I'm just gonna go off on a bit of a tangent, but I
Please.
I feel that um, my relationship with my mother has never been better. Like her death kind of triggered me to yeah do a lot of things with my life and to also like metaphorically just like build a relationship with her even without her body.
Mm.
So yeah, yeah, it's thanks for sharing that, man.
Yeah, you too, man.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna like feel free to backtrack anytime, but I'm gonna touch on some juicy stuff right now, which is plant medicine, and I know you through the plant medicine circles, especially Saint Pedro. But as we were talking about before the podcast, one of the other psychedelics, or in a way, medicines that we both share an affinity to is ketamine.
Mm.
And can you please, I don't know, share your relationship with that medicine in particular?
Mm.
And perhaps what do you think it actually is, you know? Yeah.
The relationship is love hate. So like the pros, I would say, uh, so I've never had depression when I've taken it, but you do the research out there and you
Mm,
see it's like really potent for just knocking people out temporarily out of a rough depression because of like the glutamate flowing and the plasticity there. So I honor it for that. In my particular case, like I do enjoy it for like a deep dive. Like when you're take a big dose and you're off in K-hole land, like, and you don't even know your name anymore, let alone what a name is. You have to be reassembled from ground up, right? Piece by piece. And
yeah.
it's kind of like feels like a hard drive defrag, like you sleep good for days after, like
Mhm.
it's like you have a new OS for a while. Yeah, so that part's great. I think the neuroplasticity, I had a little chat with ChatGPT and it kind of ranked psychedelics by their neuroplasticity windows, and
Mm,
iboga's at the top, but ketamine's not to be shied at. There's like a 3-day neuroplasticity window, which, for the viewers, neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to form new connections and essentially learn. So, yeah, definitely appreciate it for that. I also think, and I'm curious to get your feedback on this. I think ketamine's an emotional enhancer, meaning that, like, let's say we have an emotion inside of us, a fear of something, or some kind of sadness for something in the past that maybe we experience on a day to day basis as like a 3 out of 10. On ket, it can get jacked up to like a 9 or a 10 out of 10. Do you ever experience anything like that?
definitely, definitely. I think like for me, like I also Shout out to my friend Ben, because I was introduced to ketamine just recently, probably in the past year, and I've only done it probably 4 or 5 times now.
Mm,
And how it feels like to me is it gives me enough space or disassociations from heavy or intense emotions where I can really view it in a different light.
mm.
And the subsequent days that follow, I experience these emotions without too much personal attachment or baggage that comes along with them, you know. And I find that really helpful. I don't know if this resonates with you.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like with ketamine, I mean, like the reason why I haven't been open to do it in the past, even though I've been using psychedelics for over a decade now, is mainly, like, the stigma behind it, right? Like, of, like, it's a party drug. How did you personally, or did you even have any problem with that? Or did you start off recreationally
Mm,
and then kinda figured out, "Hey, this is actually, like, making me a better, more efficient human being." Like, what was
mm. Well, yeah, I first encountered it because I was really into raving back in the day,
right.
warehouse parties in the early 2000s, and so that was one of the staples there.
Yeah.
Um, and I liked it because it's like I could have a lucid dream and, like, control, like, what I was experiencing in my head. Thought it was super fun. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's only, like, kinda more recently, and this effect of, like, this emotional enhancement. 'Cause I would do it with my friends, sitting around, at nighttime, and then we start sharing, and then, like, all of a sudden, we're having, like, deep conversations, like, I've known these guys for 10 years, like, why didn't we talk about this before?
Yeah.
But maybe it's that disassociation, maybe it's the emotional enhancement that enabled that.
Right.
But it's also, like, this emotional enhancement. First, let me explain, like, somatically what it's like. So, I have a conference, so I've had the experience of, like, speaking in front of a lot of people. And when I've been on ketamine talking to, like, 6 people at a time, and my somatic reaction, my sweaty palms and, like, the pit in my stomach is way more intense. There's a
Mm.
it's I don't know what it is,
Right.
it's just emotional somatic enhancement. I don't know why. Anyways, like, I also view that as a con because sometimes we can get into stuff that I'm like, "I'm not sure this is really a problem."
Yeah.
Like, we've been talking about this for an hour, like, this maybe relationship issue, but is this really a problem? I'm not sure. Then the part that I'm worried about, I don't care about the stigma. So, you know, y I think you might be, like, in a plant medicine world, so,
Yeah.
like, you would keep it plant, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Um, I'm like a raver background, so I don't really care about all that. But, what I do worry about is the addictive aspect to ketamine,
Okay.
you know?
Okay.
It's got a really quick tolerance curve,
Right.
and, uh, a lot of people use it as, like, an alcohol replacement because it's hangover free,
Mm.
and, you yeah, I heard that's happening in LA and Silicon Valley, like, people just squirting their ketamine instead of, like, going out and having drinks.
Yeah, so, like, where do you feel the line, like, you draw the line between something that improves your lives or something that you're using as a distraction? How do you draw that line?
Solo usage is a big
Okay.
indicator. I would say,
Okay.
like, yeah, as soon as you feel the itch to, like, wanna do it by yourself, that's a bad idea.
Right.
Um, yeah, if using it to, like, deal with boredom or
Mm.
anxiety, let's do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think that's a sign as well.
Okay. Okay. And you feel that, does that temptation grow for you? Like, I know we mentioned that, like, we enjoyed, I personally enjoy doing ketamine with a bunch of my close guy friends, and like us getting a bit funky, a bit intimate, and just like moving through that. Do you feel as though that it's a slippery slope between doing it out of pure pleasure and something that actually benefits you?
Yeah, it could be. Actually, it could be. Yeah, yeah, especially, if that became the norm,
Right.
and, if 90% of the time you guys hang out, that's what you do,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, you're Pavlovian conditioned to like, "Well, we're together, shouldn't we bust it out?"
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the slippery slope.
Yeah. Yeah. David, I'm fucking looking at you right now, mate. Um, okay. At any other medicines, whether, plant-based or synthesized, that you enjoy?
Yeah, Psilocybin's great. San Pedro's like top tier for me. I love it. LSD's top tier. Um, I wouldn't say I enjoy iboga, but I think it's really
Oh,
powerful.
you've done Iboga, man.
Yeah,
Ibogaine or
the bark.
the bark? Where did you do that?
Here, quite recently, within the last month.
With s-
Deep.
yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, awesome. Awesome, bro. And it was a flood dose, like a full dose of Iboga?
No, it wasn't the, like, you're out for a week one.
Right.
I'm not trying to, like, quit heroin. Just trying to quit ketamine. No, just joking, joking. Um, no, I did it to, like, trying to, figure out some, like, patterns that I wanted to break,
Mm,
not related to any addiction or anything like that. So I did this mini dose.
right.
I went there at noon. I was, home by 9 p.m.
Right.
And that was, I think that's, like, the Everest of, like, self-work.
Okay.
That being
Yeah, no, awesome, awesome. Yes. I've done Iboga a flood dose three times and
full?
full.
Full M.
Full, yeah, full 3 weeks. And yeah, to me, Iboga, it I don't even see it as a plant medicine or a psychedelic. I just see it as like a death, like a real
Mm,
physical, spiritual, everything death. And as you said, like I don't recommend it to anyone unless like, yeah, you're about to die from drug use or you're gonna kill yourself tomorrow, you know? Like
mm,
it's such like a last resort for me because I think it just blows you like wide open.
mm,
But it's cool that yeah, I find out that you're microdosing or doing it in your own dosages that benefit you. Like the first time we actually met, I think was a San Pedro ceremony.
mm.
So how do you view San Pedro and how does it differ from ketamine, if there's any difference?
I think massively different. So San Pedro to me, for the aficionados out there, I think it's somewhere in between like LSD and MDMA.
Right.
Like feels very loving, but it doesn't feel like borrowed chemical love like you might have it with MDMA that you have to pay back tomorrow and the rest of the week.
Mm,
Feels like it's a revealed love with inside you. You're getting out of your own way and your heart comes forward. Um, I could also I don't like the fact that it's a psychedelic and there's you're tripping and you sometimes see visuals and stuff, but I feel like my mind, my consciousness, my thinking brain is still available to me. And not that you'd want this, but if someone came to you and be like, "Hey, you gotta get to work right now. You gotta log into your laptop and there's something to firefight," you probably could. You wouldn't want to, but you could. And I think that cognition capability allows me to like really remember a lot of the insights on San Pedro and take it with me going forward. And most of the insights are all about love, relationships, and
mm.
gratitude, and, they just literally feel my heart, like, bursting sometimes.
Okay, yeah. So like, I'm in that plant medicine world where I don't know, I guess I put a lot more emphasis on the spirit of these teachers,
Hmm.
right? And from in my opinion, like, anything natural like psilocybin, ayahuasca, San Pedro, there's a I don't know what you call it. It could be something in the ether that's created by just like collective consciousness, but there's some kind of spirit to it. Whereas with ketamine, I'm not sure what that spirit is. For me, ketamine kind of like opens up just another dimension where you can really experience this incarnation in a very third person view.
Mm.
So do you believe in the spirit of teachers such as San Pedro?
I felt it with mushrooms,
Okay,
and I have an denial, and I heard that's the one you really feel,
right.
but I definitely feel it with mushrooms, like, I'm getting information from an outside source, a wisdom that's not really me.
Okay.
Ketamine's weird, like, we were talking about this outside before we got in here. And this its ability to put you in a group flow state, like a hive mind kind of
Mm,
capacity with the people around you. What? There's nothing real about it. It's all lab made, but
yeah,
it just knocks you in it real quick. It's
yeah.
trips us we've talked about it plenty, and I don't get why that would happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I guess there's some kind of entity that has a purpose with us doing that, right?
Yeah.
If not, why would that happen?
Yeah.
And okay, so this is a question. It's probably also on behalf of Kay, our friend. Why haven't you done ayahuasca yet?
Bro, oh, man, you guys are trying to get me all the time. Um, hey, man, so, like I do realize it's like something it's up there. It's also an Everest of psychedelics. I just know it has a non-zero psychosis rate. You know, I know sometimes people trip for a week, 2 weeks, a month. As a dad,
Mm.
even if it's 0.001%, I don't have time for that.
Mm.
That's it.
But what's the difference between ayahuasca and psilocybin, for example?
I just don't know any reports of long-term psychosis from it.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Yeah, of course, you know, I mean, like, but it's still on the bucket list. Like it's still in the background somewhere, sometimes comes up.
Yeah, maybe when the kids are off to college or something. I don't know, maybe next week. But it's just like I'm happy with the trajectory right now, and I know like ayahuasca can help you make big life decisions, big changes,
Mm.
and that could be for the better. But I'm really happy where things are right now.
Okay.
You know,
Okay. Yeah. No, I respect that, brother. Um, yeah, so let's talk about that because, you know, in this day and age, a lot of people are coming out with their use of psychedelics and plant medicine, especially in the uh and entrepreneurial space, you know, such as Brian Johnson, as you just mentioned, and his routine of using ketamine to help improve his longevity and neuroplasticity and etc. What do you think of that? What do you think of all these people coming out and shining light to how these plant medicines and these medicines in general are affecting their life in a very positive way? How do you feel about all this?
so I'm not up to speed on Brian Johnson. I remember a tweet saying the research has shown ketamine extends this and that, and I guess he's jumped in. I'm not sure. So I don't wanna, like, be on record commenting on what I think I know about these guys' use
Okay.
case. But Elon said something along the lines of him using it as
Oh,
well.
really?
Yeah, maybe that surprised me that's not. Where I'm skeptical or where I worry a little bit is that these guys make decisions that influence a lot of people,
Yeah.
and, man, I've had ideas on ketamine that I think are pure genius, and the next day, I'm like, "This is probably top 3, one of the dumbest things I've ever thought in my life," you know? So,
Mm.
I worry about that. On the other hand, like, these guys are especially Elon's, like, in a visionary road. He's, like, dreaming up things for the trajectory of humanity that don't exist yet, and maybe that's what you need. You need massive amounts of neuroplasticity.
Yeah.
You know this, like, effect of psychedelics where, like, you think everything's connected somehow?
Yeah.
And sometimes that it's just, like, way overboard. "What? Oh, you're a Capricorn too, and you like AI? Let's start an AI company." Like, that's all it takes. But maybe for someone like Elon, like, you look at what he's doing, all these different companies, and, like, the Boring Company drills holes, and rockets to get to Mars, and robotics and stuff like that all fits together, for colonizing Mars.
Right.
Maybe you need that kinda weird ketamine inspiration to think this
Right.
stuff, who knows?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now it's just so interesting, man, because like, you know, I'm in this like plant medicine bubble where it's like yeah, ayahuasca, love, light, blah blah blah. And I also have my group of guy friends who experiment with plant medicines, but they're also, you know, very business orientated and very success driven. And I noticed the vibe is so completely different. Like you go from hippies to like entrepreneurs, you know?
Mm.
Um, do you like with your male group of friends, where do you guys sit in that spectrum of like how much of it is to like improve connections, improve quality of life and even business, and how much of it is to like perhaps grow spiritually and to evolve as a uh, conscious, enlightened being, you know?
Yeah, that's such a good question. So we have a men's group, and we do psychedelic retreats, like, once a quarter.
Yeah.
And it's closed, it's with our friends, and, it'll be a couple days, and we'll do a lot of psychedelics, and we'll do things like sharing circles and breath work and sound baths and stuff like that. So there's a big healing aspect to it. Uh, that said, there's a resistance in the entrepreneurial community to let go of what I've heard them in their own words call healthy stress. So inner pressures, inner dialogues, it's not that pretty because I think there's a belief that if you let go of that stuff, your edge is gonna fall off. Your edge is gonna get dull. You stop, driving as hard as you
Right.
can. Which is where I think that's a big cliff edge in terms of, like, bringing it more towards the hippie side of things. I think because of my situation, I'm the biggest hippie out of the group, and, you could probably see it, we're quite different than your level of hippies, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's refreshing, yeah, it's
Right.
refreshing, yeah. And in your group of guys, like, where are they at in terms of, like, their life goals, and how involved are you with? Because like, I'm all about men's work, and I'm all about really, like, connecting with men on a very intimate level, and, like, how much involved are you in their lives, not just like as socially, but also perhaps in a business sense, or with their families, or with their goals? Do you guys share these things, or do you guys discuss these things? Like, what's going on there?
Yeah, lots, yeah. Um, I try to act as a mentor,
Mm,
and I do coaching as well.
okay.
Um, and yeah, a lot of it revolves around finance because I walked the path that they wanna go down to,
Yeah.
and that's their goal. They're working on the finance, part of the equation. Uh, yeah, that said, so, like, I think, this burning question that everyone has, or at least I have, is can you get the same kind of financial result with a smooth ride, with balance, with enjoying the ride while you go through it and having pleasant inner talk all the way? I don't have an answer to that. As humans, I know that we run from pain more than we seek towards pleasure.
Right.
So I, even in my coaching, like as much as I would like my own journey to have been more balanced and
Yeah.
kind,
Yeah.
I I don't want to be responsible for someone's a less zero in their net worth, or less experience that they're going to have, or less resources for their family.
Right.
So that I think that's really something I want to like really look into, like be part of research or be part of some kind of getting a solution to that answer.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. That, I mean, that's such a to me, that's such a big question, right? Like, we've been programmed that it's like success is hard work, sacrifice, discipline, which is very valid.
Hmm.
But why can't we enjoy this path to success? What is it that's um having to punish yourself for not being where you want to be,
Mm,
instead of just like appreciating and honoring where you are as well on the road to the end goal?
yeah.
What does it look like, if you can go briefly or in depth, when you plan these men's retreats with your boys? Like, what does the structure, what does the environment, what does the setup, what does the reverence or the sacredness look like in that space?
Yeah. So day one, you check in and opening circle, right? So we share intentions and we talk about what's going on in our lives. We set some ground rules on how we'll be sharing and alone time, when you can talk to others, etc. And then usually it's LSD the first day. We like LSDs because it's got long. It's like 10 hours, something like that. And then that day we'll get into a sharing circle towards the end of the night.
Mm.
And yeah, usually that gets quite emotional. Psychedelics does that, you know? And then day two is more psychedelics, usually more LSD and some other add-ons. And then we get into like third party workshops. We'll bring in people for breath work, we'll bring in sound baths, we'll do cacao ceremonies,
Mm.
maybe like another third party facilitated men's circle. What I like about 2 days is that by day two, whatever ego you had left over from day one's completely toast. Like everyone's just walking around in group flow state and it's
Yeah.
authentic speech, every word that comes out.
Right.
Yeah. And then we close it in the morning on day three and talk about, what are our intentions, how we're going to integrate this and make promises to each other and check in with each other and see how things are going along.
And where would this be held? Do you find specific locations, or do you have like a list of locations that you keep revisiting? And what do you actually find is the best kind of environment? Obviously nature, right? Somewhere in nature.
Yeah, Airbnb in nature.
Yeah.
And we have there's plenty of that in Chiang
Right.
Mai, yeah.
Right, right, right. Yeah, awesome, bro. Awesome. Um, yeah, so I want to touch on also, because like, since you're so involved in men's work with yourself, these are, I presume, a close-knit group, right? Like,
Mm,
everyone knows each other quite well, and everyone's, like, good friends, buddies with each other, yeah?
mm.
How is your relationship? Like, do you have a lot of female friends, for example?
そうそう。
Some.
そうそう。
And are you able to reach the depth of connection that you do with your boys, or
Mm, with my wife, sure.
okay.
But not in like a, we know men's struggles because we are men,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's sometimes like, like I'll come back from my men's retreats, for example,
Alright.
and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe what happened." Like we talked about this, and the homie cried, and that dude like opened up about that, and she'll be like, "Why don't you guys just go to coffee?" Like you gotta do this whole weekend thing with all the drugs and stuff. Like we do this every day.
Right.
Like they're on a different wavelength of healing. Like they just do it by existing, right?
Yeah.
We have to make this big ordeal of it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Okay. Okay. So let's speak about another guy that I guess he's a big figure in my life, and I'm sure he's been some sort of influence in your life. But Professor K, um, can you describe to me your friendship with the man, and what it's like, and how you see him, and if there's any like perhaps roles involved at certain times or archetypes that you guys fit in?
Ugh. Yeah, I first met him at San Pedro, and like he's just fascinating. His like backstory is fascinating, like nuclear physicist to shaman. Like this insane.
Yeah.
And then just like yeah, I mean, like I was like watching him like play guitar maybe last year, and he told me like, hey, he just picked it up a couple years ago. I was like, what? Like, dude, you look some kind of genius. Like,
Right.
is some kind of like high IQ or some kind of adaptability that's really remarkable. So I look up to him in that sense. And he's held space for me many times in ceremonies.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I've had the opportunity to also, like, hang out with him outside ceremony and,
Mhm.
do plant medicine together. I think we kinda switch roles. We don't talk about this, but we switch roles, and, like, I'd give him space to let loose and just not worry about holding space and discharge the energy he's picking up from the ceremonies, like, I don't know, we'll have to ask him, like, if he appreciates that, but I appreciate being able to, help him in that way.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, he's only said great things about you to me,
Mm.
um, except, like, not doing ayahuasca. But yeah, that will come to pass. In terms of, like, that side of the community, the more hippie side of things, do you feel there's a resistance to it?
Me? Like,
Yeah,
going deep in that?
like, or, like, yeah, I mean, like, just in the vibration of that group per se, like
Mm,
with us and the team and everything. Do you feel like there's any avoidance or resistance, or do you feel like we're just kinda just walking side by side?
that's a good question. Uh, I've I was way more deep into yoga spirituality, like, when I first came to Chiang Mai, and then when entrepreneurship, now I'm, like, finding my way back, so I don't think what you're doing is bizarre or anything. I think I do like how I have one foot in the real world and one foot not. Like, I do like my practicality, and I think if we work together, if we had some kind of, if we collaborated on something, I'd like to stay in my lane
Mm,
and let you stay in your lane of magic and possibility and medicine vision,
you're right.
and, I could stay grounded and, you know, how do we drive things forward from a practical point of view?
Right, right, right.
Mm,
Yeah, no, that's like, it's funny because over the years of being with that group, I feel more of a calling kinda now, not to leave them, like, they're always fucking family to me, definitely blood, but I feel, yeah, I'm more interested in another space of things, man, like, I also enjoy being in my own lane of things, because that hippie stuff, it does get too much for me, and I feel like the path of being a man, you really gotta forge that out and figure that out from yourself. But in terms of inner work for you and other modalities of practice, such as yoga or meditation,
mm,
what have you found the most beneficial?
mm. If I had to say 2. One would be IFS therapy, internal family systems. It's like a form of it's a trauma-focused therapy, very seems weird. Like, honestly, it seems weird when you think about it. It's like you have conversations with different parts of yourself, but, the proof is in the pudding, at least for me. I've had tons of healing from that,
Mm.
just before and after and, like, split testing and just seeing how do I experience myself before and after is, like, completely different. That and now I'm, like, working on this, HRV training stuff. Have you heard of resonance breathing?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's basically figuring out, like, what's your optimal inhale pace versus exhale pace in order for your heart to adapt and, have increased HRV, which means more adaptability to stress and more ability to rest and relax.
Mm.
And for my nervous system that just went through 10, 15 years of entrepreneurship, that's what I need right now. And it's really fast. Like, I'm on, like, week 4 of it. My HRV's gone from 20 to 50.
Fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it
HRV.
yeah,
Okay.
and, insomnia is almost completely done.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And who, just for myself and the audience, like, who do you do that with? Where do you do that? Online or?
So just got a book, Heart, Breath, Mind by Lee Lagos, if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
and it's like a 10-week protocol. You need a little bit of equipment. You need an HRV monitor that goes around your chest,
Okay.
and it's like it's just practice.
Okay. Okay. Amazing. I'm gonna probably get the names of those two books from him and also from Naval that you mentioned,
Mm.
for anyone out there, because I'm definitely interested in reading that. Um, in terms of did you grow up in a religious upbringing at all?
Yeah, Christian.
Christian.
Mhm.
Has that influenced you in any way, like your path or your ideas of
Nah.
what do you think of religion?
Um, I don't think it's necessary to have a spiritual relationship. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Okay, cool. And what do you think is, I don't know, the purpose of this human existence? I know it's very general, but what would you say it is?
I have this, like, sense that maybe this is through plant medicines and experiences that, like, either okay, now I'm gonna sound super hippie.
Do it, do it. Create the balance.
Yeah, either we're, like, different entities in some kind of, just consciousness that exists out in non-physical form, and we want this experience of human life to experience emotion and struggle and pain and pleasure, etcetera. Or we're consciousness itself, like, in this little skin suit, and we'll go back to it, and we'll reincarnate, whatever. I don't know, it's kinda like The Matrix, like, is this a simulation? I don't know if simulation is the right word, but maybe a testing ground, a material testing ground, a playground for consciousness. I have no clue,
Okay.
but
O
it just feels like that kinda.
okay. But you have no innate desire to actually find out what's going on. For you, it's just like your own personal vision and goals and your family, and like you don't have any stress about what this actually is, right?
Dude, I don't know how to find it out.
Uh,
Like, has anyone found it out? No? Why do I think I would be able to pull it off? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm just really not sure with this kinda stuff.
okay. Okay. Okay.
You? I wanna know your answer to that one.
With what's going on?
Well, what are we doing here?
Oh man. Wh- I don't think about that question often because I find that it distracts me from my own path of
Mm,
being. I subscribe sometimes. I definitely subscribe to the idea of reincarnation. In terms of like, some people call this place a school, some people call this place a prison. I don't personally like to use those labels. I just I just feel as though this is an experience that is part of our being. It's not everything, but because we are in this body and this mind and this ego and this personality, we think it's everything. But I'm very aware that, we have, or at least my belief is that we have bodies and different realms, planes of consciousness that are going through their own trip in something that's other than material. But right now, yeah, this ego is experiencing this physical manifestation.
mm.
But I'm quite clear of, you know, as you mentioned before, that kind of all the struggles that you've grown up with has pushed you into something better. Like for example, you said like witnessing a painful dynamic of step parents forced you to kind of like be very picky with women, and then you found someone that's just a perfect fit. And maybe if you didn't go through that, she wouldn't have been attracted into your life, you
Mm,
know. Um, I feel as though all the struggles I've experienced in my life has is for something very meaningful. And I'm not saying this in the sense of like achieving big success or wealth or anything like that nature, but I'm saying this in the sense that I can live every day knowing that I have this purpose that fulfills me, and in order to achieve that purpose, I have to show up as authentically as who I am, given everything that I've been through in my life, you know?
mm,
Like you grew up grinding in engineering. I grew up in a life of crime pretty
mm,
much, you know, and a life of martial arts, and that has taught me enough lessons to be able to hold space for people really well.
mm.
So yeah, yeah,
I like
that's
that.
it.
I can get behind that.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks for asking that, man. What does the future look like, bro, for you? Not just personally, but perhaps also with SEO, with marketing, and with plant medicine use.
SEO, I think we're experiencing change right now. Like SEO traditionally is like you get traffic from Google to websites, right? Of like let me just ask you, like how often are you using Google versus ChatGPT these days or any other LLM?
Yeah, so I use Google more because I'm consciously making effort not to use ChatGPT. Yeah,
Mm,
yeah.
yeah. I think the tide's coming though. Like it's archaic the way we search for information. Like you type in something you want to know, you're given a list of 10 places where you might find that information. Then you have to read each of them and decide do you believe it or not.
Mm.
Whereas the AI kind of serves it up on a platter and says, here's the answer. I think there's going to be a shift in how we search. And, for marketing is you just got to be everywhere at the same time.
Right.
You gotta be on YouTube, you gotta be on social, you gotta do paid, you gotta do emails, you gotta do all that stuff. And user behavior is changing as well, like, people that make buying decisions till they see a business 7 times. So,
Mm.
that's part of being everywhere at once.
Right.
Um, yeah. In terms of plant medicine, yeah, I pay attention a lot to, like, what's going on in the States, states that legalize and how they're coming along and what's the progress with national legalization over there because I truly think that, this is we've been playing around with SSRIs to cure depression. You can argue if those are effective, or you can do your research and see that they kinda just numb
Yeah.
and they have their own side effects. But, psychedelics have had a huge amount of efficacy. I'd love to see a future where people who have qualify and have the need or, qualify for fixing something with psychedelics, depression, anxiety, PTSD, something like that, can find access to a provider that's done in a safe format, like, that's the dream for me.
Right, right. Do you ever think that there's an agenda that goes on that tries and suppress this information, or that tries and changes the narrative about anything that actually benefits humans from, you know, being autonomous and having their own sovereignty um,
Mm.
going on? Do you ever entertain those ideas or?
Maybe. I don't know if people sit down in a boardroom and, like, scheme about this kinda stuff, but, the war on drugs, like, was a big setback, and, like, when they recalled all the progress that was made on, like, LSD research, MDMA research, and all that got completely destroyed with the whole Timothy Leary scandal and all that kinda stuff.
Right.
I think that set it back. But I do think it's inevitable. Like human beings are gonna tend to want to go towards things that make them feel better.
Right.
And it's a modality that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Cool. Can you give advice on a few things? The For anyone who is perhaps inspired by this conversation, or by yourself in general, perhaps like can we start with like financial advice? So for anyone looking to build wealth and where to store wealth in a way that you you feel in control and more secure with it? Like, do you keep, I guess, most of your money in like assets or property or crypto or stocks, or do you have anything to say about that?
Diversity.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a case for any one of these things to get destroyed or go to 0, but the only way to sleep well at night is you spread it out,
Right.
right?
Okay.
And so it performs well and, sure, like, if you go all in on Bitcoin and Bitcoin 10Xs, then you can look at yourself, "Oh, I'm so stupid I didn't do that," but which one is more likely and which one is gonna keep you sleeping well at night? I think
Right.
it's the strategy.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true. And in terms of building or attracting wealth, would you suggest focusing on one thing and being fully invested, or would you also use diversity in that situation and have many pipelines open for
Mm.
it to come in?
I did the latter. So I did multiple businesses. The reason I was able to pull that off, so there's this concept in a book called, uh, it's not coming to mind right now. Anyways, there's a concept between visionaries and integrators. Visionaries are like the ideas people, and integrators are the operations people. So I'm a visionary, and basically I partner with integrators.
Yeah.
That allows me to have multiple businesses as long as I'm doing the same job at all of them, which is marketing and generating leads. You make a YouTube channel, and your YouTube channel can send people to your agency, to your course, to this, to that. So I did this multiple approach and did it works out for me because I like diversity. I like keeping things like new and having variety in my life. But there's definitely an argument in many books written. One's called The One Thing, So there's a full argument on, like really focusing.
Okay.
That's the Silicon Valley model, et cetera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And in terms for any men out there, perhaps going through some kind of struggle, whether it's personal or financial or in their relationships or in their life or dealing with trauma or mental illnesses, what are certain things that you can suggest for them to get through, to overcome, and to make the most out of their situation?
I think the first part is awareness because usually, at least in my case, my experience and a lot of my friends said, like, anxiety creeps up on you. It's not like one day you're just anxious. It's like a little bit every day, and it's like the frog in boiling water. You don't
Mm.
realize something's happening. And I think part of it is, yeah, awareness, like just really like paying attention to your thoughts and saying, like, is that normal to say that to myself? Is that normal for me to just beat myself up for missing a day at the gym like that and really like talk to myself like that? And then sharing it with friends, getting soundboarding against people like a therapist or a friend or your wife or your husband or something like that, and just saying like, "Hey, this is what's going on inside me," and just getting feedback and saying like, "You know what? Kind of not normal. I don't have those kind of thoughts." Then you can take action, and
Mm.
there's a lot of things you can do. There's therapy. I think that's probably the most potent form.
Yeah.
Psychedelic assisted therapy, regulating your nervous system. There's
Mm.
tons. But you got to figure out there's a problem in the first place because for me, a long time, I just thought, "This is what adulting it feels like."
Right.
You pressure yourself. You wanna get results, you gotta pressure yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you believe in destiny or free will?
Mm, I don't know. I'm a split each way. I could
Okay.
go either way.
Okay. Okay, bro. Okay. The last kind of area I do wish to finish up on is fatherhood. Because we're both fathers. I'm a recent father, and you've got two kids, right?
Mm.
Yeah. Like how has that impacted your life? And can you also touch on a bit about the dynamics between you and your partner and how you're able to create harmony within the household?
Mm. So, kids, it's so cliche, but, like, they say, like, kids has changed your life is the best thing you can do. For me, that's certainly the case. It's like I know I always have a North Star. Like, no matter what, I will always have a single job, which is to love the heck out of these little monsters and give them the best life that they can? And I love that job. And having a 5-year-old right now, she's just like such a magical little creature. And
Yeah.
I learned so much from her. Just her sense of awe and everything's amazing. And her mood is just like, That's my model of what I'm trying to get back to.
Oh,
So I think it's been such a great blessing. Um, as far as my partner goes, yeah, I mean, she's Thai, and um, and we have a good masculine feminine dynamic. You know, we play these roles pretty well, and we're harmonized with them.
right.
And at the same time, she's very different than me. She's never had a sip of alcohol in her life,
Okay.
and she grew up thinking that all drugs are bad, and
Yeah.
it says a lot for her to trust me and to do these things, and it says a lot to the result that I'm getting from him, where she knows if I go to ceremony, I'm gonna come back and, be a better man, you know? So I
How did
thank
you
her for being open to that.
okay, how did you meet, or how did you guys meet?
She was, she had a part-time job teaching Thai, and I was getting my Thai visa. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, awesome. Okay, she came into your life when you first started out in Thailand,
Yeah.
and this was before you had your success in terms of your companies and everything.
Mm.
Do you feel like she was a big support throughout this whole journey?
Yeah. Well, first off, in a practical sense, she's a huge part of, like, the conference. So we have Chiang Mai SEO conference of, like, 800 people, and that in itself is a business itself,
Right.
but it's a launch pad for other things. Like, to have an event is, like, a huge marketing effort and a huge indicator of trust and etcetera. So it in that thing standalone, she was a huge part of setting up vendors and all that kinda stuff.
Right.
I think a secondary, like, subconscious effect was, when you have a partner and you're settled down with them, you don't think about this very time-consuming thing of, like, chasing, girls, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, I got 80% of my time back.
Yeah, fuck
80 is a
yeah.
joke. But yeah,
Okay. And how good's your Thai now?
it's okay. It's alright.
Alright, alright. Um, okay, I guess one last thing on that is what do you feel that, your children are kind of free to explore and be their own person, and are you just providing the most loving and comfortable container they can possibly have to do that? Or are you, in a way, kind of shaping anything with them right now as to the type of person that you feel have good virtues, good boundaries, good morals, or good skills, or yeah, life skills in general? Like how do you see that part?
I think that it's part of the parent's job to teach self-sufficiency,
Mm,
confidence, self-resourcefulness, self-soothing, all these things, in terms of, like, mindset and their own, like, social skills and internal skills. In terms of shaping them to what direction they're gonna go in life, I first off, I have no clue what, jobs are gonna be available in 13 years, so it's gonna be a waste of time,
yeah.
you know? But, I like to just think of it like what you said, like, create a container for them to grow into what suits them. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And last thing is like any advice for, dads like myself and dads out there on how to develop a loving and a relationship with your children that is not just fulfilling but also gives you strength and courage, I guess, to face whatever challenges out there. Do you have any advice or any words of wisdom for
How old's your
fathers?
kid?
18 months.
18 months? So it's gonna be like another 18 months till language really comes online, and then personality erupts,
Yeah.
and then it's gonna just happen. When you have that feedback in the relationship, I think it just happens. Like, you don't have to force anything, like, just the relationship with them.
And do they see you and their mother? Do they observe how you guys interact with each other? Do they observe and perhaps even copy as well? Or do you think it makes a big difference, like how loving you are towards their mother as well in front of them, and how harmonious the energy is?
Yeah, I think so. 'Cause I grew up in a house of yelling. There's a lot of yelling and verbal abuse and stuff. So, I mean, I know what that did to me. So I just drew a line in the sand saying, like, we're not repeating that. But I have a good enough relationship with my wife that's not an effort. So We aren't violent. We're loving towards each other. We play, and yeah, hopefully that rubs off on the kids.
Right, right. Any plans for more?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, okay, brother. I mean, I think we covered a lot.
We did.
Yeah. Any any way for people, I guess, to reach your content, or to reach you, if in case they might be open to coaching, or they're looking to partner up or business up. Is there any platforms you wish to share right now?
Sure. So if you want to learn about marketing and SEO stuff, I'm like the channel video velocity is starting to decrease, but it's the Matt Diggity YouTube channel. I'm starting to get into coaching and mentoring. So if you go to diggitymarketing.com/go/free dash coaching, maybe we can pop that up on in the description or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm learning the skill of coaching. I'm learning the skill of mentoring, and I think that's probably going to be a big part of my second half of life. And yeah, you can have a free coaching session and see if there's anything I can offer you, and you give me the chance to practice.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you so much, bro, for joining me. Yeah, this means a lot, and hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Just give me feedback, like, comment, share. Just be honest, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. But yeah, thank you, bro.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, I hope perhaps maybe in the future we can also build something else or come back on the podcast.
Sounds good,
But
man.
yeah, cool, brother. Peace.
Peace.